Hi there, everybody. Welcome to the Hollywood London magazine show today. And today we've got Jayjay Epega, who is the producer and media consultant. And we have a whole host of topics for us today, one of which is celebrating culture and creativity, and a little bit more about Orlando Martins. Could you welcome Jayjay?
Hi, it's lovely to be back. How you keeping through everything?
We're keeping safe. Hope you're keeping safe and well too.
Yes, we're making sure to do that. My daughter Dylan has been exceptional, and with her support. And my family, also Wande and Baba and all my other family members. Everyone's been very good. Thank you. Thank you.
That's great to know. And from the last time when we spoke, we spoke about Orlando Martins, which is your uncle. But could you just give us a little bit more information about his link to Hollywood and about his relationship to you, and today, in today's day and age, how important it is because of the whole Black Lives Matter issue as well. So could you please let us know a little bit more of an update and what's happening?
Of course, it's actually quite interesting because it's been such a pivotal time with the Black Lives Matter and recognizing people of different cultures that they can also achieve great things. And for us, the journey of Orlando Martins has been really fascinating because he achieved a very luminous career in the 40s and 50s and 60s, in the golden era of Hollywood, where he was able to, if not have the forefront role, he was also able to have a career with high-flying people of the time. I'm talking about people like Gregory Peck. I'm talking about people like Bob Hope, Audrey Hepburn, Robert Mitchum, also Anthony Newley, father of the artist, Sasha Newley. He was able to appear in great films like The Non-Story, which was with Audrey Hepburn, and that was nominated for an Oscar. And Hasty Heart, one of his first films in 1949 with Ronald Reagan, who was obviously one of the presidents of the US. So it's something that we're very keen. Again, it's still an ongoing journey, but we're very hopeful that as a family and as people, I should say we have other people outside who support this idea as well. We'd like to bring his story to life through a documentary. And it's something we're going to be working on. Of course, with COVID-19 and this terrible year we've had to put things on pause. But it's definitely something that we've been talking to with Turner Broadcasting in America and a couple of producers on this side of the coast of, the big coast. So yeah, it's definitely something that we want to pursue. So we're looking forward to moving forward with that. So it really matches up with what's been happening now. Just looking, you can see behind me, I've got an issue of Vogue magazine, and it's been a very, very special issue that they brought out actually. And I'm just actually bringing it up on my screen. It's been titled Activism Now. And what they featured 20 activists on the fold-out cover of the magazine. And quite impressive. The photographer, Miss Anne Harriman, is the first Black photographer ever to cover, I should also say, someone of African origin. Most people that look like me are of African origin, wherever they're from, if they're from the US or Jamaica or whatever, but he's Nigerian actually, British Nigerian, and happens to be my cousin, which is quite interesting. He did the photos, all the photographs in the magazine.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Amazing. So this success is kind of in your family and these connections.
It's really nice. Well, this is from my mother's side of the family. So Orlando Martins is from daddy's side of the family. Miss Harriman, his father's Hope Harriman, who worked with my father, Ben Epega. They had a company called Harriman, Epega and Co. And they were the largest property developers in Nigeria. They were like, the founding fathers of Nigeria. So when you say Chief Hope Harriman, Chief Ben Epega, when you say Harriman, Epega and Co. were like known as the people that built Lagos. So it's really nice to see like all of us, our next generation, we're coming out there and making a change in the world and doing different things. And I really, really like the issue. I made sure that we got copies in. You know, it's something that we can look back on. It's really, really nice. So again, so I've got a great uncle who back in the 40s was the first Nigerian to come to the Western world and achieve a career in Hollywood. And now we have our cousin that's done the issue of Vogue magazine in 2020, the cover, the British Vogue cover. So it's almost like a full circle, really. So it's really quite nice. It's really quite nice.
Lovely. And your uncle actually had a relationship, like a friendship with Ronald Reagan as well, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He certainly did. And we didn't appreciate it at the time because we were very young. And like I've mentioned in the past, he would show us pictures and we'd be like, oh, yeah. And he'd be like, oh, you know, oh, boring, you know, but you're only 12 or 13. So we didn't appreciate the impact. There were pictures and letters from Audrey Hepburn. He said, oh, that's my friend, Audrey Hepburn. Oh, really? You know, so we didn't click in till, unfortunately, when he passed away, it was only then that we really appreciated the loss and understood, like, oh my gosh, you know. Then when I was a little bit older and I got to see the classic film, Breakfast at Tiffany's, it really hit me like, oh, hang on, that's great uncle's friend, Audrey Hepburn. So I kind of put two and two together. And now I appreciate it so much more than I did at the time. But it's youth, isn't it? In your childhood, you don't understand until, you know, much later. So that's really been interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and the whole story of how he managed to make his way from Africa, Nigeria to Hollywood is amazing. And then how he made his first breakthrough, I think that's something that so many people would, you know, want to listen to and to want to watch. That I think that's a great thing all around. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And there was something about Kamala Harris that we said that we would also discuss, a very important person.
That's really fascinating. When my sister went to Howard University in Washington, D.C., she was already there. She was a senior. So, you know, in American education is 4 years. And so you start off as a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. So Kamala was already a senior when my sister joined at Howard University. So she was there and she met her during that time because they were in the same sessions. And it's so important to really acknowledge that this is the first time a woman of color has been nominated for a possible position as a vice president in the US. It won't go down with a number of people because right now America is so divided, very much a racial, it's the Trump people, or, you know, and there's quite aggressive time. It's really sad because we thought after President Obama came in that things would change and it would be calmer. But I think it's almost a backlash, or even some people call it a white lash, in the sense that a lot of people are very angry that how could somebody of ethnic minority be a president? So there's a lot of anger about it. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the elections go, because people aren't taking it lying down, and there'll be a lot of cheating, and, you know, it's going to be a very rough time. But it's good to see someone like Kamala Harris come in and make a change and hopefully, you know, turn things around, because it's just been, it's been terrible in the US with the riots, Black Lives Matter, the killing of George Floyd. You know, it's aroused a lot of emotion there. Mm-hmm. And I hope there are changes. Also, we had it here, people, you know, in this COVID-19 very dangerous time, you had people marching because for what they believed. You know, it's very tough where you have governments that don't really care what happens to certain citizens because of the color of their skin. We're all human after all. You know, white, black, blonde, green, whatever. We're all human beings.
And we all bleed the same, don't we?
Exactly. We all love our families. We all have pain. We all have happiness. And I just really think that at the end of the day, we should just look at it like that and see who's not selfish. Because right now in the US, the kind of leaders they have there is very disappointing, because, you know, the president right now, it's very much about him and what he wants. And it should be about the people, and everyone should count, not just people that look like him. It should be, everyone should count, you know.
Yeah.
So I wish them luck. So yeah, it's good to see Kamala come in, and you know, she's of Black and Indian origin, which is brilliant.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mix of us too, really.
Exactly, yes.
Representing.
Yes. You know, it is. And I think, isn't that wonderful? Look at our friendship. In America, they always break it down. Oh, how can you, Indian, Asian person, be friends with this African person? We don't think like that. We're friends. We move on from, you know, we like the same kind of food, sometimes fancy the same kind of people, although you prefer Leonardo, I prefer Brad Pitt. But you know,
conversation.
Exactly, but you know how it is. So, yeah. You know, I think we should move beyond that. You've hit the nail on the head. You know, look at us. This is what the world looks like. You know, everybody isn't the same. So everyone should be given that equal opportunity.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's a connection of the soul and the person and the individual. Yeah. It's not about color. It really isn't. Yeah. And so yeah, that's lovely. Thank you for that. And just before we finish off, I know we tend to have a little chit chat regularly about what books we can recommend, and I know the kind of books that you get to review as well. So I wanted to just share that with our viewers, and I wanted you to just give us a little bit of an insight as to the books that you would recommend for this week, please.
So yeah, we've had quite a quirky selection this week, and the first one is a book called, and you know, being that it's been locked down and everything, I'm going to put on my glasses now because I need to check the notes as well.
Fine. Absolutely fine.
So excuse me. Basically, because of lockdown and everything that's happened, some of the books that we've had have been maybe over a year old or current. So it's been nice to have a mixture of selection. So the first one is The Grit in the Pearl, The Scandalous Life of Margaret, Duchess of Argyll.
I really want to know about her.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
please tell.
Oh my goodness. It tells us that Margaret, Duchess of Argyll's life was one of complexity and controversy. Born Ethel Margaret Wigham, the only child of a Scottish self-made millionaire and a beautiful high society woman, her childhood was rich and splendid, but she led an empty life in the sense that it was all about parties. She wasn't, you know, worried about education and everything. She married a number of gentlemen, and what tells us, the story tells us about is a story of tragedy, scandal, and heartbreak as Margaret swung from lover to lover to lover. They were very high society. And her life was totally torn apart when in 1963, her husband discovered she had had numerous affairs and actually was able to calculate that she had been sleeping with over 80 men.
What?
80.
She was very busy.
Very, very busy. And tragically, in the sense that her life was more for her about her voracious sexual appetite. So it's kind of a cautionary tale in the sense that she controlled a lot of the men. A lot of men were in love with her at the same time. At one stage, she was engaged to 4 men.
Oh my word. I have never heard that before.
4 men.
4 men.
4 men at one stage. So what that's telling us also is that because she didn't believe in heartbreak. There's one thing that we learn as women is a lot of women have all this heartbreak waiting on one man and whatever. Sometimes it's wise to take a step back and open the oyster of the world. Have a choice because you're going to be let down. And so you don't carry that bitterness. She never carried the bitterness of, I broke up with him or he's not paying me attention. She would have at least 5 or 6 on the go. So if one doesn't pay attention, she can move on to the next. And I think it's a great, oh my goodness, it's a great lesson to learn because over the years, another person who gave us that kind of thought of living is Pamela Harriman. You know, we love Pamela Harriman.
We've had conversations about her as well. What an interesting life she led.
Yeah, there's a new book coming out about her next year, so let's keep an eye on that. Yeah, there's a new book coming out. And somebody else, you know, Pamela Harriman really had that, where she had been heartbroken at the beginning of her life. So she decided that I'm not going to be doing this anymore. I'm not doing heartbreak. So I think the cautionary tale here is, especially when you're not, this is different from being married, obviously. If you're not married and you're kind of like in a dating situation, the best advice is to have choice, minimum 3, because as human beings, we always...
According to Pamela Harriman.
Yes, we always get let down. So, you know, watch yourself. So yeah, so this is my first recommendation.
Thank you for that. Yeah, The Grit in the Pearl.
The Grit in the Pearl. So the Duchess of Argyll. Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, book 2 is Finding Oprah's Roots. We're doing a lot of finding this week.
I love Oprah. I really do.
Roots. And it's by Henry Louis Gates Jr. And he's been doing a lot of these TV shows where he gets people to find their roots. It's almost like a reverse of Who Do You Think You Are? It's a version of it, and they do it in the States. So what he does is they do a DNA test, like, you know, the 23andMe. You've heard of 23andMe. They do DNA tests, and they find people's backgrounds, roots, especially African-American ones that I've watched, where they find, you know, they find what country, they can trace what country they come from. So with Oprah, I believe Oprah was from Cameroon, and there was a smaller, like Liberia. She traced her roots to West Africa. And some other people found Nigeria, some were from Ghana. So it's fantastic. So what this book is really good for is people, especially people of African origin, or even people that you know, a lot of Europeans know where they're from, but it's mostly people who have been enslaved, unfortunately. So the Caribbean, Brazil, this is really useful because it gives traces of how you can find your roots far back as Africa. You know, find your roots. If you're from New York and you say, oh, I don't know where my people are from, you can do a DNA test and they tell you what part of Africa you're from. So they trace Oprah's roots in Africa. Has her sort of ancestors who are unfortunately slaves, talks about them. So it's very heartrending, but it's a really good read. I actually got this book the last time I was in the States before the pandemic, and I've only got round to reading it now, but I've found it really, really interesting. And I learned so much about Oprah's journey. I mean, the woman is amazing. We all know.
She looks absolutely fantastic as you're holding the book up. She really does. She's become like such a beautiful inspiration. She really is.
She has.
So thank you for that. And is there another one that you would suggest?
The final one, and I believe you've also been sent a copy.
Yes. I haven't had the chance to read mine yet, but
okay. but I'm sort of cracking on with it. And
that's great.
Yes. So this arrived this week. And I believe it was released finally to everybody this week. And I'm very much because I haven't gone through it all. I've just gone through bits and pieces of it. And I think it's a very complex thing. It's a very complex issue because there seems to be a case of you either like them or you don't like them. And I just feel that, number one, they should have that opportunity to live the life that they want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, especially now we heard that they had got a $14 million house in Montecito, California, which is literally like 90 minutes drive from Los Angeles, okay? So it's almost like they're living in Surrey, like from London to Surrey or something.
Ah, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. People saying, oh, they're using taxpayers' money, whatever. He was born a prince. He met somebody he fell in love with. I wouldn't call myself, oh, I'm an avid fan of Meghan's. I don't hate her, but I just think that, so it's not like I'm sitting here with any kind of like, oh, she's done this, she's done that, because you don't know the person. How can we say she's
we
like
don't.
this? You don't know the person.
No,
I know
absolutely.
people that know her. She's very good friends with a cousin of mine. I know people that know her very intimately, but I don't know her. So, but I can't sit here and say she's a nasty person or this, and you know. But I think the problem with everyone is that a lot of British people are not used to seeing someone on that level of royalty, like a person of African and white origin. To them, she's a black woman in that sense, if that makes sense. I'm a mother of a mixed race child myself. And but they see them, you know, she's seen in society as a black woman. So for them, they can't handle that a prince of theirs has married not the typical British rose petal kind of woman, but has married somebody out of the box. So I think there's this sort of anger towards Meghan. She kind of took their prince away. But when you grow up, don't you leave home? Don't you go, sometimes you live in another country. Oh, I've got cousins, I've got American cousins that live in America.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. I just think it's really unfair the way that she was treated, and there was no other reason for it apart from her colour, and it really came out. It did come out, you know, when they were about to get married.
I think, you know, there might be elements of her that people don't like. So I won't say, okay, it's all about race, because a lot of people of colour have complained. When you look at her friends, they're mostly white. Let's be honest, most of her friends are white. She hasn't assimilated in black culture in that sense, because I don't call Serena Williams a best friend. That's a high profile person. Okay, that doesn't make her a bad person if most of her friends are white. That's her prerogative. That's fine. But I don't think people even saw that. I think people just see her as, I think people are just annoyed that, oh, she's spending money. Her husband loves her. If they want to live in a £20 million house, that's their business. They've got one life to live. They've got their kid. And I think for me, I'm going to like go into this with like an open mind. I just want to see a different aspect of it, you know. I'm going to go into it with an open mind and just see what they have to say about them. But I don't think that we should all be so negative. And, you know, they want to make a new life for themselves. Why not?
No. Why shouldn't they? Yeah. That's fine. Well, thank you so much for your insight on that. And please do let us know what you think once you've completed the book.
I will do that. I mean, for myself, did you always like them? What did you think of the wedding? And
yeah, I think, you know, like I must say I love the royals anyway, but I was surprised as to how there was such a backlash, and I think that Harry and Prince William have had to go through a lot because they've spent all their lives living under the spotlight, and inevitably whatever they will do, it will always have some sort of you know, like interference. And I just really sort of feel for them in the sense that, look, just leave them be, leave them alone, let them just, like you said, they're in love, they want to live their lives together, they want some privacy, they're bringing up a son, you know, like just kind of let them just get on with it, really.
You're right. And before I finish, there's something I always wanted to say. The fact that, you know, he carries this pain in him, which I can actually empathize with. I lost my mother in a car accident in 1992, and then they lost their mother in 1997. People like us, and we were young, you know, we were very young like them. Just barely teenagers we were, but he was much younger. He was 13. When you lose a parent like that, when you go into your love life, your loved one becomes like an anchor. The way he's lashed onto Meghan, and she's older than him. Do you notice that? She's older than him. There's that element of a mother figure, if that makes sense. Not in a weird Oedipus kind of way.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I
think that's what he's found. He's found his anchor. Because you have that pain you carry around for the rest of your life when you lose a parent so early like that. I have it. And it's affected my relationships in my life. And So you either become wary or you really latch on to people. I tend to be the other side, more wary. But with him, he's latched on. And, you know, that's his journey. Let him have his journey. And if he wants to come and speak about the environment or whatever, let him do it. If you don't want to hear what he says, don't listen. Give them a chance.
Absolutely.
Give them a chance. So yeah, I look forward to reading it and telling you guys more about it.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your very, very personal account of your own story as well. I think when you hear it from somebody, especially when it's from the heart, and especially when it's just so as fragile as losing a parent as well, it's you know, I know you because I obviously know you. We you know, for some time. So even when you speak about it, I know just how painful that is and how it has an effect on on life, you know, on your life and everything as well. So yeah, but thank you so much for that.
Thank you. I enjoy it.
Thank you for your time. Thank you to all those watching, and we must do this again very, very soon. And thank you from Dr. Fykaa. Stay safe, wear a mask. Thank you from Dr. Fykaa Caan, and thank you from Jayjay Epega as well. Do you want to just say goodbye to all our...
Thank you, and see you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.